Okay, so I was wanting to show off some cool ways to speed up your animation render times. So I have this animation. It's just a set of rotating pillars. I wanted to create a fair amount of geometry and light bouncing so that it would mimic, if we had a skeleton jumping around in here. It's probably more geometry than if we had a skeleton walking around here, but there you go. Talking about render settings, render times will be sped up a lot if you only have one light in your scene, or the fewer the lights, the better. If you want reflections, we have to be on the art renderer. We want to make sure that our size is at least 1280 by 720. However, if you are doing test renders here and in class before you're done, use a tiny resolution because it'll give you enough to see that it looks like what you want without taking forever. So some of the settings that you can use to make this go faster are to set the maximum time, stop rendering even if quality is not attained. So I could set this to maybe 12 seconds or 10 seconds per frame. I got 300 of them, so that's a decent amount. And I could set it to iterations, like whatever the minimum would be acceptable. I think 5 iterations looks good enough for me. And if you really don't like the noise, there's noise filtering, and you could make that stronger and turn things on like that. But that'll take an extra little bit per frame. So I'm going to leave that off for now. And then we need to go to save the file. And we'll go to Files. And I'll just render this to the desktop in a new folder called... What does this look like? This looks like a pine cone. All right. What's that like onion thing that they have at Chili's?
A blooming onion?
Blooming onion. Yeah, this is blooming. And we'll save this as onion. And we'll save it as a JPEG. So our file size isn't crazy high. Best quality, of course. PNG has uncompressed, but we'll live with that. Open this, save this, perfect file size. And up here at the top, it'll say render the active time segment, or maybe I don't like it when it like revs up, so I want to wait until it's at max speed, so I'll go to like 30 frames to 270 frames. So you can also go to a range of 270, nope, 30 to 270.
This week 6, right?
Week 5.
Week 5.
And then up here, if you hit render, it will begin rendering all of your frames. You can see here in the job queue, starting at frame 30, 1 of 241, pass 1 of 1, and it's taking, well, 13 frames to do the first one. 13 seconds. Looks like it'll take an hour to finish. This is 10 seconds. Well, less than that because it's only 240 frames. But if we were to go to the folder on our desktop, Blooming Onion, and there are our images, eventually they'll pop up. And then finally, if we want to open this in Premiere, if my computer doesn't die because of all the high intensity stuff I'm doing right now. Quick, turn the music off. No, I'm kidding. So open a new project. Okay. No, I guess Untitled 2. We can go to Import Media, and then we can go to the desktop and Blooming Onion, and we can click on our first image and select Image Sequence here, which will use all the other images in that scene. It will import it as a single file, which we can then drop in, and of course it's only 6 frames, but once it's done it'll come in as a single file that we can drag around, and that's nice. And we don't have to do it that way. We could Let's create a new folder. And let's just drag all of these in here, like that, not as an image sequence. And if we select them all in here and go to right-click speed duration, we can change their duration to 1 frame. And when we bring them in, they come in as single frames. And the problem is sometimes they're not in sequence, which is the worst. So you can see why it jumps back, forward, yeah, and then back. So image sequence is definitely preferable. So that's what you could do.